Hello and welcome back, YouTube. It is Friday morning, July 14th, 2023, 7:44 a.m. I got mixed feelings about the fact that I'm leaving here at 7:44. I'm not entirely sure what time I clocked out on the Manolo app, but the job was supposed to last until 9 a.m., but this is one of those kind of places that when the work is all done, the work is all done, and the work is all done. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed about that because I was expecting a little bit more income to come out of this. But that was still a lot of unexpected money. I mean, it's $20 an hour, which is actually more than any of my warehouse work that I've ever done is paid. So I'm pretty enthused about that. Well, let me clarify that. That's more than any of it is paid that wasn't overtime hours. I mean, holiday pay and overtime pay at Amazon was pretty freaking awesome. So this is second time this week that I've found myself working alongside GYR3 alumni. Again, somebody I don't know, but I don't know, it just seems so wild, like every time that happens. Like, he didn't really get, well, he said he worked in outbound, but he said he worked day shift. He was talking about all the stuff he didn't like, and I was like, you know, it was mostly about management and stuff, and I was like, well, did you work day shift or night shift? He goes, a day shift. I said, well, there's your problem. I said, nights, they were great. At least I thought there were. I mean, granted, there were some, there were always some issues, but, yeah, it is what it is. Well, that's kind of neat. An intersection right there, 55th Avenue in Missouri. I don't know if you could tell, but the street light poles around the corner are all built to hold traffic lights. So it's kind of interesting how they've just put in street lighting there right now, but it has the provisions, and those are Glendale style traffic lights, which are considerably different than the kinds Phoenix use, and pretty much always have been. That's one of the ways I can tell what municipality I am, not only by the style and the color of the street signs, but the type of traffic light poles. But yeah, very much in Glendale right now. So anyway, yeah, leaving earlier than expected. Honestly, I'm not as bummed about it as I might be in other circumstances, mostly because I'm tired, and court is at 1:30. So this gives me enough time to get home, try to get cleaned up a little bit, because I am really sweaty. It is hot in there. I think of HelloFresh, I think of working in a cold environment, and that was one of the hottest working environments I've had in a long time. There is no air conditioning in there. There's some swamp coolers. Yeah, as hot as it's been lately, not particularly effective. And it was very physical work, but $20 an hour. That's yeah, it's all good. Just extra money that, I'm just bewildered. And I'm kind of curious, like, would Ruthie throwing something like that out on Manolo, and I think she threw it out at like 2 a.m., 2:10 a.m. ish. Like, I'm curious, like, who she thinks is awake at 2 a.m. and paying attention to their Manolo app that wants to come in and work at 3. And I guess I already know the answer to that question, and that would be me. But anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed the job, and it was kind of interesting to see where those food boxes that I've been packing at HelloFresh production, kind of another one of their steps on their journey to people's doors. So I had no idea that HelloFresh had their own delivery network. That's basically what that office was. That's their what do you call it? Their own delivery, which is kind of the equivalent of like Amazon does almost all their own delivery at this point. But when I'm working at HelloFresh, and granted, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the labels on the boxes because it's not really my job to do that. I mean, I'm the kind of person that pays a lot of attention to everything just because this is kind of how I'm wired. It's part of being on the spectrum. But anyway, when I do, like, generally speaking, it's such a struggle with the box labels for me to see the last 4 digits of HelloFresh's control number that I rarely look beyond that. But every now and then, when I'm working on an assembly line and I'm waiting, and I forget what the word is that's on the app, but I'm waiting for the people that are down the line to catch up so I can push my box and start working on more. It's like I generally seem to be faster than whoever is downstream from me. It just always seems to be that way. And I've had times when I've been working at GOIR3 and I've had people tell me, it's like, hey, you don't have to work that fast. And I'll be like, well, I really only have one speed, and that's go. Now, sometimes go isn't as fast as other times, depending on how tired or fatigued I am. But I was working pretty damn fast tonight. So I am a sweaty mess from it. Actually wore my Team Phoenix Pepsi safety shirt. It's I think it's actually meets ANSI 2 requirements for like yard safety or warehouse safety, but it's just a t-shirt. It's got the reflective stripes on a t-shirt, and it's got some stains on it, so it doesn't look great. But I've cleaned it, like I laundered it. It just certain stains didn't come out of it, and I had it hanging across my in my bathroom. It's been hanging in the same spot for quite a while on my shower curtain, and the plan has been to use some Fels Naphtha soap, which is something that my mother turned me on to as kind of a laundry thing. It's a really old product that's not very well known, and sometimes you have to order it. It's not something you commonly see in grocery stores, but it's basically lye-based soap, which is, yeah, it'll irritate your skin when you're using it. You probably want to wear some rubber gloves. Either that or immediately wash your hands good with regular soap and water once you're done. And if you have open sores on your hand, you don't want to fuck with this stuff. But yeah, my mother used it as a stain remover when I was a teenager, and it works wonders. It really does. And I don't put that much effort into my laundry very often, but every now and then I have something that's light colored that I really like, that's got some stains in it, and that's what I do. I'm pretty sure that bar of soap, it's either in my medicine cabinet or it's more likely it's underneath my sink in the bathroom. But every now and then I have about 2 or 3 items, and I'll just hang them on my shower curtain. I'll try to get to it, and I'll go through it with that, and then rinse it out with some water and rub it and rinse it out until the stain is gone. And then generally speaking, I'll put it back in my laundry because that stuff's still being on, and if it's against my skin, it'll be kind of an irritant. But then I launder it again, and it's just amazing how good that stuff works. And it's called Fels Naphtha. I might not even be pronouncing it right, but I'll try to remember to put the name of that soap in the description, and see if I can find a purchase link. And it's not even a sponsored purchase link. I'm not making any money on it. I just want to give you all a cleaning secret from a guy that hardly ever cleans. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who told my mother about it, but I've seen very few people that have heard of it. But that stuff works. It's a little time consuming to use, but and it does take some effort, but it works. It works very, very well. So anyway, yeah, so I had that shirt and wore that, and I'm really glad I did, because had I worn like one of my usual black shirts and then a safety vest on top of that, I would have been even hotter than I was. So I would say that helped. Also fairly hot doing the work over at, although there was air conditioning there. Now over at, what do you call it, Restaurant Depot. Although whenever I felt like I was getting really, really hot, I would just take a walk. They've got a refrigerated food area, and I would just take a walk through that. Just walk around the end of my aisle. I was doing aisles 1 and 2, aisle 3, 1 and 2, and then on the other side of aisle 1, there's like cooler doors on the other side of aisle 1, which I wasn't stocking. I was just stocking the racks. And then on the other side of the cooler door there's 2 giant walkways where you walk in. It's kind of the way the refrigerated section is at Costco, but bigger. And there's 2 doors, one at each end. So I'd walk in one and just kind of walk through it. I'm not slacking off. I'm just kind of walking. And by the time I got out the other side, just the coolness of the being inside the giant walk-in cooler, which is a shopping area. Like there's merchandise in there. Just being in there and then getting like just that coolness on the sweat. And by the time I came out the other side, I was amazingly refreshed. But yeah, I didn't have that good of an escape over at HelloFresh delivery. So anyway, I was saying with HelloFresh, the labels, the bottom part of the label on all of them is exactly the same, and that's got some codes for HelloFresh as far as what all goes in the box, and there's some shorthand. Somebody tried to explain it to me. He goes, well, that'll show you what you need to pick, so you can, anytime you want to double check against, like if you think you missed a button or whatever, you can double check that. And I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that's in such small print, I can't even see it. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. I said, I'm straining just to see the number that I'm verifying with. Is like, oh man. But that looks like one of the vans. It's probably not, but I was kind of surprised HelloFresh doesn't use their own vans. They're using all rental vans for it, which you think they would have their own their own fleet and have it all labeled with the HelloFresh logo on the side, but nope, it's just all rental stuff, just vans, just like that one that just went on the right there. And they were all different ones too. Like I think we had 2. I don't know. At one point, just to keep me busy, she had me vacuum out the vans that were already in there, because they were scanning a bunch of the boxes, and rather than train me on how to work that software, since I'm only going to be there one night and there's a chance that, with me not being familiar with it, I could have made a mistake, she went ahead and just handed me a vacuum and a trash bag. She's like, why don't you just go clean out the trucks? So like, yeah, I've been like vacuuming out trucks for $20 an hour. That's awesome. And it's, would I want to vacuum out trucks for a living? No, but for $20 an hour at a time, I'd normally just be laying in bed, either asleep or bored. Yeah, that's actually pretty damn cool. So, yeah, traffic's kind of heavy on here. I think I'm going to exit the next exit. I'm kind of regretting I didn't exit the last one. And of course, once I start moving this slow, I need to. Oh, this lane ends. I was thinking about coming across on Indian School, but
your conversation this morning.
Yeah, we could give a quick listen to KTAR, see if I can catch a traffic report from Detour Dan.
White House press secretary about who she thinks this was based on where it was found in the White House. Pretty interesting.
Is she kind of the same
That whole story about cocaine being found in the White House is just hysterical to me.
Who was there for a state dinner or something
She
like
thinks because of where it is probably something like that, or a friend or close family member of a staffer, because that's a part of the White House that's normally not accessible to everybody. You only get special tours, which is why Chuck Todd thinks it was an entertainer, but Kayleigh McEnany says it also might be a family member or a close friend of a staffer.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. But
When Chuck said entertainment, I was like saying to Jim, way to profile.
right? But nonetheless, it really seems like they should not give up on this investigation, because that's a sign you can really smuggle anything into the White House.
That's right.
You don't want that going on. All right.
Kennedy and the women.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's true. Times have changed, though, right? All right. Mike Bruno.
Good times. So anyway, yeah, the HelloFresh things. One thing I noticed is that they have the top half of the label will be for different carriers, and there's a lot of different carriers. Like some of them are UPS, some of them are. I've noticed UPS ones. One that really caught my eye the other day was Axle Hire, because I still have WorkWhile constantly offering me delivery shift with Axle Hire, but it's with my own vehicle. Like, really? Yeah, my vehicle is so not up to that right now. And even if it was, I question if I would really want to do that, especially as hot as it is right now. Yeah, I want nothing to do with delivering in the afternoon, in the sun, in the heat right now. Even if my car was perfect, hard pass on that. But because Axle Hire's been kind of on my mind, because I'm always clearing out the push-through notifications for Axle Hire, I keep hoping WorkWhile will have something else on it, but so far, I haven't seen it. But Winola's been happening. In fact, speaking of delivery, they've offered delivery gigs with Jimmy John's tonight and tomorrow, and obviously I'm not gonna do it because A, my car's having issues, but B, I gotta go home, take myself, trying to clean up a little bit, take myself a power nap, and then I'm getting out this freeway. I've had about enough of this. Yeah, I'm getting try to clean up a little bit, and then take a power nap. And I hope to God I don't oversleep court, but hopefully if I set enough alarm clocks, I'll wake up. For the most part, I've been waking up regularly. Like I never seem to got that kind of frustrated Brazil is not taking care of certain things restlessness that wakes me up like every few hours. So pretty. Oh, have you heard this story?
Apartment near Thunderbird and 51st Avenue, where she was found unconscious on a bed with fentanyl next to her and the baby. The baby boy has a feeding tube and is back at the hospital getting proper care. The mother has been charged with child abuse. Heidi Hommel, KTAR News.
Santana's other 3 children had already been taken by the Department of Child Safety.
See, this woman named Santana is a fentanyl junkie. They tested her baby, and the newborn baby, had fentanyl in his bloodstream, and she knew that Child Protective Services were going to take the baby, and she disappeared from the hospital with the baby, and got arrested. I think you probably heard the rest of the story on KTAR there. When I was on my last break at Restaurant Depot last night, that news story came up. Or maybe it was when I was at the end of the night when I was just grabbing some of my stuff before leaving. At any rate, it's not relevant. It popped up on the screen at some point, and I was watching it, and her face looks really familiar, like somebody that I saw interviewed on Tales from the Street, and I'm not entirely sure if it is or not, but I took a picture of the screen. I think it was on Fox 10, the TV in the break room over there, and it had her name in the picture and the headline about maybe taken from or getting arrested, what have you, and in the anyway, I wanna oh, here we're talking about the weather.
Bring the hottest temperatures we've seen since 1995. KTAR's Jim Cross is live with details.
Yeah, Jamie, since the record started being kept about 125 plus years ago, Phoenix has only hit 120 or more 3 times, twice in June of 1990, once in late July of 1995. Chris Coleman with the National Weather Service says 118 they call for Saturday and Sunday, but 120 is not being completely ruled out.
Everything kind of has to be perfect. Once it gets to be, it's very rare for that to happen. And I mean, it's not like this weather system is stronger than the 1995 event or the 1990 event, but it's comparable.
And today is expected to be the 15th day in a row of 110 plus. It's almost a lock. We're going to tie the record run of 18 on Monday and then set the all-time new record on Tuesday. Live at the News Center, Jim Cross, KTAR News.
Last year, hundreds of people in the valley died from the heat. In fact, 25% more than the year before. Dr. Nick Staub with the Maricopa County Health Department says of the 425 deaths, 80% were men.
We also know that for men, the age group of 50 to 64 tends to be the most represented in our data.
178 of last year's heat-related deaths were homeless people. Staub says if you need relief, visit heataz.com to find a cooling center close to you. And this heat is especially hard on your pets.
Pets can't really sweat as effectively.
Valley veterinarian wants you to watch for signs of overheating.
Your pets can get heat stroke too. Dr. Tara Murphy with Veterinarian Emergency Group in Chandler says pets show symptoms a little differently than people.
Signs of like labored breathing or more effort with their breathing. They might start to pant excessively. You might see sort of increased drooling. So those might be a little bit different signs than we would see.
Dr. Murphy says heat stroke can lead to other issues like organ damage and is sometimes fatal. Nick Sadowski, KTAR News.
One of our U.S. senators is pushing.
I'm keeping my cats inside, as for always.
In the cool pines.
Senator Mark Kelly has introduced a bill that will convert federal land in northern Arizona previously used by the Forest Service to a veterans community and healthcare center.
Transfer of this 232-acre area will allow Gila County to build a veterans center in Young, Arizona.
The center will also come with a mobile clinic, increasing access to healthcare and other VA services.
That will serve not only the nearly 5,500 military veterans who call Gila County home, but also veterans throughout rural Arizona.
Bowen Overstoles, KTAR News.
We anticipate the first Rangers joining the team this fall.
Park Rangers in Tempe. The city's Craig Hayton says if you live in Tempe, they want to hear what you think of the plan. The Rangers would be in charge of keeping parks safe and welcoming visitors.
We have a public meeting scheduled Monday, July 24th at the Tempe Public Library in the Desert Willow Room, which is in the lower level from 6 to 7 p.m.
You can also give your thoughts at tempe.gov/forum. KTAR Eyes on Education. A week after the Supreme Court struck down President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, Arizona's senior U.S. Senator Kyrsten Sinema tells KTAR in an exclusive interview she questioned the validity of the move.
I long voiced concern about the president's plan when he first announced it because he didn't have the legal authority to address it.
Instead of a one-time payment, Sinema believes Congress needs to address the fact that college is unaffordable for many Americans. That's why she'd like her colleagues to take on the issue in a bipartisan way. And we've now learned the Federal Department of Education today will forgive the debts of 804,000 people. Apparently, there were errors in tracking payments that had many borrowers paying well beyond their loan end dates. We'll get more details from ABC's Karen Travers in just a moment. KTAR News Time is 8:07. We're back over to the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center now at Detour Dam Beach.
Thank you, Jamie.
Wow, I just realized the Circle K is completely gone that used to be there. I think there used to be a Circle K right on that corner on the left.
I-10 westbound looking good out of the East Valley. So is the 60. So is the 101. And if it weren't for some wood debris that was spilled across all lanes of the westbound 202 Santan and Arizona Avenue, the Santan would have looked pretty good too. But at the moment, there's about 1.5 miles of light slowing just approaching Arizona Avenue. It's about an extra minute to your right. The 10 coming in from the west side side continues to improve. From 59th Avenue into the 51 interchange, it's about an extra 3 minutes to your ride. And again, I'm being a little generous with those brake light extra minutes. Olive at 67th Avenue, collision, and another wreck up in the North Valley at 7th Street and Deer Valley Road. This traffic report brought to you by ADOT. The I-10 Broadway curb project is in the works. It's an 11-mile stretch of Interstate 10 between the Loop 202 and I-17. Stay ahead of the curve by downloading the free curb app for construction updates and detours. Detour Dan, KTAR News.
Sunny at 117 today, 119 tomorrow, 118 Sunday. Don't be surprised if we do hit the 120
really
mark
old
this
school
weekend.
traffic light pole right there.
Right now it is 96 degrees in Phoenix, and weather is brought to you by Howard
96
Air.
early in the morning.
Place of repairs,
Damn.
Howard Air. Some good news for some student loan borrowers with an announcement from the White House.
The Department of Education today.
Well, I kind of wish I had got back on the freeway at 35th Avenue. I-10 looks like it's moving really good there. I was kind of expecting it to be like really congested all the way into the stack, which is why I got off the freeway. But it's all right. I always kind of enjoy driving through here. So anyways, I was saying, yeah, those labels from HelloFresh, they indicate the different carriers that these different boxes are being delivered by. And I never noticed that there was one that's actually HelloFresh's own only their own delivery network. I never noticed that existed, but I know the next time I end up working in the production warehouse for HelloFresh, I'll be keeping my eyes open for that. So, but yeah, good times working over there, and loving the extra money. I'm approaching my financial goals, surprisingly. So yeah, tonight I definitely am going to need my sleep, because I'm going to power nap and then get up and hit court, probably after court. I don't know what I do will depend on how tired I am, but most likely I'll probably I brought the stuff with me. I got a letter from DES from I got a letter from DES dated July 3rd saying that they need information from me regarding Bullock's cocktails, but it was all information I gave them on the 1st, so I don't know if I don't know what to think of that, to be honest. But I'm thinking maybe while I'm downtown I should hit up, go ahead and go back to the DES office inside the Human Services campus and see what's going on with that. Yeah, see what's going on with that, and hopefully I'll run into Alice. And still no word from her since she disappeared Monday morning. And as I said, I talked to her case manager yesterday, and they're looking for her as well. So,
with the first color TV broadcast
I love
of
these
sports.
segments.
So which one do you think it was? Football, basketball, baseball for sure? No, none of those. CBS broadcasted the Molly Pitcher Handicap horse race, shown across the country in a way that no one had ever seen before. The race took place at the Monmouth Park Jockey Club in Oceanport, New Jersey. The winner? That would be the 4-year-old horse, Marta. Later that year, color TV made its way into Major League Baseball. The Dodgers were the first team to get that royal blue treatment. It was a real innovation in television, and just a few short years later, another new technology would revolutionize sports broadcasting. During a Canadian cast of a hockey game, George Retzlaff was the first person to use instant replay to show some of the action again after it happened. But even that wasn't as significant as the first time that the world saw sports in living color, on this day in 1951.
Time for another check of your drive with
That's kind of neat.
He is live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. We got any real problem spots out there?
There was. It didn't last long. It was some wood debris that was spilled on the 202 Santan earlier, westbound at Arizona Avenue. There's still about a 1 mile residual backup from what looks like about McQueen over to Arizona Avenue. Again, it's wood debris in the roadway, and it's much better now than it was. This had initially caused about a 4 mile backup when it first occurred, but we're just about out of the woods now. On the I-10 coming in from the west side, you'll tap the brake lights a couple of times, but it has just about cashed out this Friday morning.
Oh.
We do have a wreck, Olive at 67th Avenue, and a wreck at 7th Street and Deer Valley Road up in the North Valley, and you've been updated. It's Friday Light. This traffic report brought to you by Ideal Home Loans. Ideal Home Loans, home of the interest rate guarantee, and evolved by Ideal. Dietrich and KTAR News.
Sunny and 117 today, 119 tomorrow, 118 Sunday. Don't be surprised if we hit the 120 mark this weekend. Overnight lows in the low 90s. Right now it is 96 degrees in Paradise Valley. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair.
And my temperature gauge is too high. Engine temperature gauge is too high to turn on my air right now. Yeah, I keep getting red lights. I really should have turned right on 19th Avenue. I could have popped back onto I-10.
If you've been injured in an accident, call Sweet James. I'm Jamie Weston. Good morning, Mike Broomhead.
Yeah, preach it, Jamie. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, and as we all, become hermits in our homes under the AC this weekend, we'll be waving hello again on Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
I'm
about 10 pounds lighter.
it's gonna be so hot when I'm moving the equipment over to
thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. Happy Friday, everyone.
over to the Royal Lounge tomorrow.
How many of you are sick of hearing about the strike in Hollywood? Scale of 1 to 10. Actors and stuff. Listen, I have a lot of respect for writers. I've gotten to be around a bunch of writers. I have, I've had someone help me write a book, which is different than the Actors Guild, different what's happening. But there is another strike that is happening that, or could be.
I just can't bring myself to care about that. Just saying. I should probably wrap this up. I don't really have anything more to say. I feel like I didn't quite finish the story about when. Oh, that's I don't know if I don't think I finished the story about what was going on with Manolo on Sunday because I had to call and figure out exactly where the hell I was going, and then she was like literally right outside my car, so just kind of had to cut things off. Anyway, so what happened with the gig I was trying to get with Sky Chefs was customer service completely unhelpful. Winona customer service said that they can't contact the requestor. They can't excuse a late or anything. You will be penalized if you're late. I'm like, how am I supposed to get there in 20 minutes? Well, just don't take the job. Well, anyway, what she didn't mention, assuming that Weena is female, what she didn't mention is that, and maybe she just simply doesn't know, but in situations like this, what ends up happening is when the people are trying to get, whatever employer is trying to get some temporary help, additional help, and it's not showing up, or nobody's accepting the jobs. And of course I would imagine people aren't accepting the job because they're looking at it and going, yeah, I can't get home, get ready for work, and be there in 40 minutes. Or that's too soon. Well, what some of these, at least what Sky Chefs did, and come to find out, this other place that I was just at today, HelloFresh, the delivery facility there, when nobody's accepting the earlier one, they can put in additional requests with a later start time. And it never occurred to me that maybe that's what was happening. And of course I couldn't even look at that on my app. And I wasn't getting push-throughs for that on my app because I was in the customer service chat part of the app. And of course I didn't get stuck on that late last night, early this morning, whatever you want to call it, because I know that's just a dead-end waste of time. And when I got home, I refreshed it, and sure enough, like, the one was starting at 3, but then she'd put it in for 3:30 as well. And I ended up starting at 3:20, which was nice, So yeah, I had to leave a little earlier, lost some time, but hey, I gained a little bit of extra time. It's all good. It's just all extra money I wasn't expecting, so. But yeah, I could have, were I not dealing with were I not dealing with my daughter's drama. As soon as I finished with customer service, the first thing I would have done while sitting down there was go back to the Winolo app and refreshed available jobs. And I would have seen that they had changed the start time not only did they have the one with the start time to 6:30, but they added one with the start time of 7:30. At which point I would have just immediately went home, got ready. I accepted it, went home, got ready, and gone and done the job. But instead, I got home, had crazy arguments with my daughter, and I'm just trying to think, what can I best do for her? As she's talking about, I'm like, well, obviously she's like, well, nobody will help me, I need help. I'm like, well, where do you think you should go? And then she's, every place she's like, oh no, that's terrible. Oh no, that's terrible. Well, you're going to have to figure out which is the least terrible and go there. Because I can't give you the help you need. I'm a DJ, not a doctor. And obviously you've got some problems that you need medical help with, not just detoxing help and probably psychiatric help, but just straight up medical help. And I'm telling her, it's like, probably your best bet is to get into something residential where they're also providing medical care, and we'll get that for you. And so I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do, because she's, she can't think of any place to go to, and that's fine. I don't expect her to know that. She's not fully in her right mind right now anyway. And I called the crisis line for LifeWell, the LifeWell crisis line, just because that's my number to call if I'm having a mental health crisis, like beyond. If I'm having a meltdown and I can't handle it on my own, like, that's kind of my lifeline. And I haven't used that number in a long time. In fact, I think the last time I used it, Elise was still pregnant with Lily. So yeah, a long time ago. But I called it, and they did send a crisis team out. I was kind of surprised. I was expecting it to be a LifeWell crisis team. It ended up being a Taros crisis team, and I don't know if they just worked together, if that's why it was, or if it was. I really don't know. All I know is a crisis team showed up, and they had something for her. They had something for her where she could get all the help that she needs, and the bed to stay in, and the care that she needs that I'm absolutely not able to give her. And I mean, and as much I want to help her. I do. I mean, she's my daughter. She's my baby. I want to be there for her as much as I possibly can. But on the same token, like, I'm so hanging from homelessness by a thread right now, and I'm doing really good towards my goal of staying on my feet, getting back stable. In fact, I'm doing much better than I expected I would be, than I felt I would be, say, a week and a half ago. When I got what I thought were 3 job offers that were sure things, and I would have to try to figure out how to schedule between the 3 of them, and then none of them came through. And I don't expect to hear from Hertz, back from Hertz anytime soon either. But I was really happy with how quickly I got responded to yesterday very apologetic for not having reached out to me. So he seemed pretty glad I had reached out to him. And it's comforting to know that my driving record is good enough, because my driving record might be what's holding me back for the job that I was supposedly going to be offered at the rental car center at Sky Harbor. I just don't know. I hate not knowing, you know. But in spite of that, like, I feel like things are going really well. So, but yeah, I need to keep on my grind and all of that drama, which honestly, had she gone into that program, I don't think I would have felt so bad about missing out on a potential Sunday night's work. Had that happened. But she just disappeared the next morning. So God knows what she's doing. But apparently she's not keeping in touch with her case manager at Taros, because her case manager at Taros is calling me looking for her. But you know, as I told her case manager, it's like, you know, if she was 17, it'd be a whole different situation. Of course, if she was 17, it would be Vanessa's problem. But that's a whole other separate tragedy. But yeah, she. But you know, if I was custodial dad, let me rephrase that. If I was custodial dad and she was 17, like, it would be a whole different situation. But now, I mean, she's an adult. Like, most information doesn't get shared with me. I can't make decisions for her. She's got to make these decisions for herself. I mean, I can be there as much as I can and try to help her out, but you know, I have very extremely limited funds. Like, you know, she wanted me to give her a phone with service on it. Yeah, I don't really have. I'm barely keeping my shit going on that front. I don't have money to just go buy you a phone with service on it. Sorry, wish I did. I don't. At least I was able to. At least I was able to keep that tablet for a while, and she had given me that tablet as kind of like a gift. I felt like that was a gift, but you know, no issues with giving it back to her. I never did use it, and when she was in the hospital formerly known as Good Samaritan, certainly she needed that tablet more than I did. So I was glad to be able to get it to her, and the whole time I was kind of thinking that had she not left it at my place and, you know, given it to me when she'd given it to me, based on things she'd been telling, things she'd been through since, she probably would have lost it. It probably would have been stolen from her by now. So yay, at least I was able to make sure she still had her tablet and bring it to her at the hospital. Now, does she still have it now? Who knows? I don't know. She certainly hasn't used it to email me. And then even if she doesn't have phone service, it's completely possible with a tablet to get an app where you can send text messages to people's phones via Wi-Fi. And I know it's got Gmail on it. So she could reach out to me. She's choosing not to, and maybe she's frustrated with me because I didn't really sugarcoat her situation, and maybe she's mad that I did call a crisis team. I didn't really ask her if she wanted me to do it. I just did it because I felt that's what she needed. Anyway, enough about that. I'm gonna try to take a quick shower and then power nap because I gotta be to court at, I think, 1:30. Yes, 1:30, courtroom 506, 7/14/2023. I really wish the hearing would have been there on that date when I showed up in June. I can't believe they scheduled this stupid hearing so far out. So much for my right for a speedy trial.